was a group called Boys to Men. And they always made like hit songs, right? And they have so many, just like countless really, really good songs. But they had this one song in particular that said, "It's so hard to say goodbye," right? To yesterday. And I want you to know that that song is completely appropriate for today because for a lot of you, it's going to be very hard to say goodbye. And the reason it is because you have not made the adjustment. You're still holding on to what I call traditionalisms. While everything around you changes, you don't want to evolve. You want to remain the same. You want to go to bed, wake up every morning, believing that your job is safe and secure and your paycheck is going to be there. You want to believe that every Friday or whenever your payday is, that check's going to automatically deposit into your account. You've been so programmed, so conditioned. Go back and look at this what was it called? I think it was called Pavlov's dogs. This study that was done some years ago, way back in the day, and the dogs were so conditioned that even when circumstances changed, it was still the same. In fact, they behave the same. In fact, there's a book, if I'm not mistaken. I've read this book like years ago. I think it was called "Who Moved My Cheese," and it was a very short book. And I'm in the bookstore. I was like, why is this in the business section, right? And I ended up reading the book, and the book was called "Who Moved My Cheese." And if I can remember correctly, the book was about everything around you changing, but people fell into change with what's going on around them, failing to evolve. And you're going to have to evolve today or you're going to get left behind. Welcome to the channel. I'm Shon-Jhon, aka the Middleman CEO. I teach burned out employees like you or burned out, overworked small business owners how to start or convert their business into a middleman business, or how to start one from scratch, where you connect customers to service providers. You don't do the work. Your website does all the work. You just manage it, and you get paid every time you get a customer for another service. Super easy. We do referrals all the time. We never get paid for them. Might as well have a business that pays you for referrals, right? When you lock in jobs. Imagine how many times you could have gotten paid when someone says, "Hey, do you know anyone who does blank?" "Hey, you know any good restaurants?" And then they go off and spend hundreds of dollars and we don't make anything. So what I do is I teach you, well, my team and I teach you how to manage a middleman system in your city, whatever industry you choose. I'm in the moving industry and a couple of others. Does not require you to do any hard work, anything like that. But if you want to learn more, just put the word "teach me" or the words "teach me" down at the bottom under any of my videos and get the free blueprint where I break it down for you even more. So let's get into it. Morning coffee time, but decided I'd jump on and share this with you. If you have any questions or comments, you're welcome to get in. If you missed the free live training the other night, just hit me up on here, let me know, and we'll get it out to you. And Middleman CEO info at gmail.com for now, if you have any questions. So I believe personally, and again, I could be wrong, but I like to forecast, right? And I think we don't do enough of it, and we have the ability to do it. So I walk out of the house this morning. The wind is blowing here in Dallas. It's overcast, cloudy. And so the first thing that goes through my mind is it's probably going to rain today. And so I want to be prepared for the rain. Now, how? I don't know that it's going to rain, but what makes me forecast and believe that it's going to rain? Well, the conditions, right? It's what I see, what I observe, right? And so I look up, I see gray skies. The sun's absent in the day. During the day, you can barely see the sun. Gray skies, few raindrops, and winds blowing. So I just assume it's probably going to rain. So I want to be prepared. But you guys go to sleep, wake up the next day, get dressed, drive through all of that traffic, get to your job, punch that clock, do an honest day's work, drive through traffic back home, eat dinner with your with your family, with whatever time you have left to spend living. And you go back home you relax, and then you do it again. And you guys get so programmed, so trained. They've trained you so well. But listen, they trained me too. I was a part of the ones getting trained. I was a part of the ones getting programmed until I changed my mindset. They've trained you, they've trained me. I was programmed, you've been programmed, I've been programmed. I was programmed the same way you are. I was programmed that you have to go to school and get good grades. So that if you get good grades, by the way, I was really good at completing work, just not good at showing work. But I got in trouble for that. Right? So all of a sudden, they tell you the same thing they told me: go to school, get good grades. So if you get the good grades, you could go to this place called college. And then if you go to this place called college, they're going to give you this thing called a degree. And if you get a degree from this place called college, there's a really good chance you're going to get a high paying job that's safe and secure. And then when you do that, they'll probably give you a promotion or a raise if you work hard. And then after you get that promotion or that raise, guess what's going to happen? Right? You're now, after the promotion and the raise, the next step for you, excuse me, the next step for you is going to be save money. Now you're saving money to do what? Buy a house. Now you're going to buy a house, and then you're going to save the rest of the money and invest in the stock market, in a 401k, IRA, something like that, for 40 years so you can do what? Hopefully retire. That was the plan. Now, before I poop on that plan, let me just tell you, 10, 20, 30 years ago, for your parents and your grandparents, it was a good plan. I said it. I admit, 10, 20, 30 years ago, for your parents, your grandparents, it was a good plan. You could go to school and get good grades. And then when you got those good grades, you could go to college, get the degree, and that degree did usually come with a really good job, most times safe and secure. The reason I say that is because your parents and grandparents were able to work jobs that were 10, 20, 30, 40 years at the same job, or maybe 2 or 3 jobs, but not like today where we're changing jobs every 90 days. There was longevity. There's no longevity today. And so your parents and grandparents were doing that. And so that was true. And then you could save money because it was a good idea to save money. Why? Because the banks paid interest. So they actually paid you. Saving money was actually an investment. So you loan your money to the bank. That's what the savings account was. And then the banks would pay you for bringing the money. And in my opinion, when we got to direct deposit, the banks figured out you don't always come and get your money. You don't ask about interest rates, and they pulled it all. Because I think interest rates, whenever they were paying interest rates on your savings account, it was a bribe because you were getting paper checks and you could cash them anywhere. And so they needed you to cash them there. So I believe they came up with, direct deposit. Paying the interest. But when direct deposit took over, they realized nobody cared about interest and people were just comfortable seeing their money in their bank account. And so they started creating apps and all these things where you could just log on and always have that relationship with your money. Very, very genius. And so there were 30, 40-year jobs. You could buy a house because there was a 30-year mortgage. Houses, of course, were cheaper. But more importantly, it's because it's not even the price of the house. Most importantly, the jobs were sustainable. The jobs were longer so that you could tie a paycheck to a house. Today, if you buy a house and there's a 30-year mortgage, this is what blows my mind today when people are talking about buying a house. It's like, what are the interest rates? What's the housing market? What are the prices? Are the rates going to? You're asking the wrong question, honey. What you should be asking is, how am I going to pay for this house? And if your answer is with a paycheck from my job, don't buy the house, because you're not going to have that job for long. You're just going to lose the house and the down payment. So I'm not going to get into which is better, to rent or to buy right now. I'll probably do a video about it. If you guys want me to, let me know in the comments. Smash thumbs up. Welcome in. This channel is all about giving you Everything I've learned, everything I've learned, and trust me, I have learned the hard way. I have learned the hard way. I've been homeless several times. I'm almost a homeless expert. I was homeless for so long. I had a homeless community. We were friends. I had friends who live in tents in the trees. I was out there. I knew everything that was going on in the homeless community. I knew where the soup kitchens were. I knew where you could sleep. I knew the parking lots where trucks were allowed, where you could kind of get in there. I didn't have a truck, but the truckers, would know your situation. You could get showers, just shower at a gym. I had the whole routine down. You don't want to do that. Trust me, it ain't fun. I never want to do it again. That's why I'm always on here saying you got to change your life. You got to change your mindset so you can live financially free. There ain't no like piety in poverty. It ain't like this thing you run around. Well, you guys do. A lot of you online, you run around bragging about the struggle life. I don't. I hate the struggle life. I'll do almost anything to keep my family out of that. I know what it's like. I've had a very hard life. Yes, I know there are people who have had it much worse than I have. That's why I don't complain. I've had a hard life, a hard upbringing. Yes, there are people far worse than what I went through who would have given anything to go through what I went through instead of their situation. I know that's perspective. That's why I don't cry. That's why I don't whine. That's why I don't trip about the life I've been through. It sucked, but I know there's people who did worse, who were in worse situations. So I thank God for the little bit of suck that I was given. Make sense? That's perspective. So next time you guys are like, well, I'm not having a great day. What are you talking about? You 7,000 people didn't wake up today. You did. Your limbs work, your tongue work, your eyes work. You're not in the hospital. You're not burying a relative. You're not in the hospital with a sick child. What are you talking about? You're doing awesome. What are you looking at? That's making you say, I'm just doing okay. Oh, I'm making it by. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you looking at? You're looking at the wrong thing if that's all you see. Look at what you've been blessed with. Look at what you've been given. All right, I don't want to preach. We're gonna do that on my Bible study channel, and I'll let you guys know as soon as it drops. The plan is to drop it January, the beginning of the year. So, all right. So again, the era of the 9 to 5, in my opinion, has diluted over the past few years, especially due to AI and all types of automation and outsourcing and middleman companies like Fiverr, like Craigslist, like Yelp, like Google, like so many others. The 9 to 5 has kind of faded away. So if you believe the same system that worked for your parents and your grandparents is going to work for you, you're in la la land. You are in la la land. And guess what? You're the king or the queen of la la land, because you believe the old traditional ways of getting by economically are still going to work. It's not going to work today. Times have changed. Things have shifted. I started this video by telling you that you can look at the sky and forecast what's going to potentially happen today. Well, you can also look at the economy and the job market and forecast what's going to happen today. You see AI coming in. Listen, AI cost 1 million people their jobs this year, and we aren't even out of the year. I predict it. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm now, after reading and hearing from people that are way smarter than me, I'm nervous. I'm terrified that I underbid. I said in the next year, probably 10 million employees, 10 million people are going to lose their 9 to 5s. And I put that out there in a video, took a big, bold risk. I was like, if AI, who just introduced itself to us, really in this year, really just introduced itself. I know it's been around a couple years, but this is a year it just started introducing itself to us. And in 2025, it's already cost 1 million people their jobs. What do you think 2026 is going to look like? I'm just saying. Imagine what 2026 is going to look like. AI keeps learning. I had this conversation with a young lady here in the neighborhood. We were talking. I took my son out for lunch yesterday after school because if you own a middleman business, you don't have a job. You don't need a job. And I don't. And I enjoy it. I don't back down from saying that. I don't want a job. I don't want to work. People, we're so conditioned and programmed. We think that the only way to make money is to sell time. It isn't. We think that the only way to make money or make a living is to work hard. That's a lie. We think that if you're not hustling and grinding, you're not doing anything. All lies. You find the wealthiest people in your corner, in your circle, in your neighborhood, in your city, your state, or in the world, you will not find them working hard. You won't. You'll find systems working hard for them. Jeff Bezos built Amazon into, who knows, $1 trillion company. Okay, what does Amazon do? It allows you to order products. By the way, Amazon's a middleman business. They don't make any of the products. They just ship them. And they'll get you to ship them in your car. That's middleman, right? So Jeff Bezos created this beautiful company, yet I have yet to see Jeff Bezos on the back of an Amazon truck. Never have. Can't even find a picture of it. Nobody can show me any proof Jeff Bezos was ever on the back of an Amazon truck. Elon Musk built all those beautiful vehicles. Well, the toaster looking truck, I like it. I know a lot of people hate on the Cybertruck. Let me know what you think in the comments. I like it. I don't think it's bad. I think it's a perfect billboard for your business. And I'm thinking about getting one to promote my business here in Dallas. So I think they went down to like 80,000. So not bad. But Elon Musk is not building cars. He's not even designing the cars. What about his rockets? Have you ever saw Elon Musk in one? I've never seen it. I've never seen it. Have you ever seen it? I haven't. What about the owners of Walmart? You ever see them at the registers helping you check out? Never have. What about the owners of banks? Where are they? Systems, folks. If you can put a system in place, you can thrive in this world. If I can just get you to forget and erase the programming that said the only way to make money is to have a job, so sell time for a paycheck. The only way to be successful is you got to hustle, you got to grind. If I could get you to rethink that and say, wait a minute, selling time for a paycheck is not the only way to make money. In fact, I don't even want to do it that way. I don't like it because I want my time. You know why I want my time? Because I'm running out of it every day. So are you. That we don't have, we don't get, we can't go refill on time. When it's gone, we're gone. I'm sorry, boss man, but I like you. I don't want to spend 10 hours a day up in here. I want to spend 10 hours a day doing what I love doing. This life is short. I want to enjoy it. I'm tired of punching this clock. When am I going to live? I could walk in here, have a heart attack today, dying on this clock. When did I get free? And people do it all the time. People walk into jobs all the time, punch the clock, sit down to do their honest work, and have a heart attack at the job, pass away. And I hate it because who wants to die like that? And I take it even further because I'm like, I put myself in that person's place. Not only do I not want to die like that, but even worse, well, I guess it can't be worse, but also, I'll say, that means I wasn't like getting to live my life that I wanted to live. Chances are most of those folks didn't live the life they want to live. And to me, that's the ultimate regret is that, okay, I went to work, I played by the rules, I saved money, I went to college, I got a degree, I did all this, and then you still fired me, laid me off, then I got another job, I worked my butt off because I have all these bills and a family, and then I died of a heart attack in my cubicle. And then you drug me out, put me in a box, put me in the ground. Somebody else took my place. The business kept going. And now I'm looking back from the afterlife going, oh my gosh, I cared more than they did. I wish I wouldn't have put in all that effort. If I could go back, I'll work part-time, sometime, and just barely get by to live my life, to enjoy life. Because you feel like, man, I died working my whole life. What was life? I never got to enjoy it. I never saw anything. I never got to travel. I never got to do the things I wanted to do. I never got to learn anything new. I was so stressed out every day. I didn't even get to live. And I don't want to go through life like that. So a couple of years ago, tell you what I did. I sat down, and that's why I say if I could get that programming out of your mind, that the only way to make money is with a paycheck and working hard. That is not true. If you find people who work hard, you're going to find people who are struggling the most. Go look around. Go ask people who are struggling financially, like hustling, bustling, putting in that 9 to 5, worn out, tired, burned out. Ask them how they're doing. Ask them, and they'll tell you they're burned out, they're worn out. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. You just go find out, because the people who are working the hardest, hustling and grinding the most, they're the brokest. I'm not saying they're all the way broke. I'm just saying there's a reason they have to put in that work. And they're never going to live their best lives. And I'm not against working for a paycheck. You guys watch my channel, smash thumbs up if you understand what I'm saying. I'm not against the paycheck. I'm against your paycheck being your only source of income. That's what I'm against. If you want to keep your job, you like your job, fine. There are jobs, I've had jobs that I liked. But the problem was the job was my only source of income. I loved being a table games dealer at the casino. I loved it. I saved money. I thought they would never let me go. You kidding me? This is the best job I ever had. I love the games. They would never let me go. They were paying me good. There were not going to be any layoffs. I was saving money like everybody told me to. And then all of a sudden, they let me go. And then I did what all of you would do. I looked at my savings account and I said, all right, I'm going to survive. We got a savings. But what they didn't tell me is that when you burn through your savings, that's it. There's no other money coming in. So I blew through my savings, no other money coming in. My account went to zero. It went negative. It went negative. I can tell you all the places to get gas when your account is negative. I know. So the account went negative. And I'm sitting there like I played by the rules and I lost. And I'm here to tell you, if you play by those rules today, you're going to get left behind. The 9 to 5, those days of punching the clock, going to work, going home, those days are over. Adios. They're out of here. If you believe that the 9 to 5 era is coming to an end, smash the thumbs up. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments, guys, who believes that the 9 to 5 era is obsolete. I do. I'm looking out here, and if you see it happening around you, let me know in the comments. Chime in. If you're seeing people, just put a yes in the comments. If you're seeing people get laid off, or hearing about friends and family or people in your circle getting dropped just like that, who believe they can never lose their jobs, and then having a hard time finding another job. Because you guys believe erroneously, a lot of you, that if you lose a job, you can just go and get another one. Listen, I'm here. Go do your research. Don't listen to everything I say. Well, listen, but go and fact check it. Because I'm wrong sometimes. Sometimes I'm wrong, even though I'm trying to be right, I can be wrong. And sometimes when I'm right, I hope I'm wrong. I hope that I'm wrong. And this is one of those times. I hope that I'm wrong. The reason I hope that I'm wrong is because of what I predicted for next year. I predicted 10 million jobs lost due to AI. Hearing from experts and professionals, they're predicting 20 to 50. Unbelievable. I hope they're wrong. I hope I'm wrong, because I don't want to see anybody suffering, their kids suffering, their family suffering. I don't want to see that. It ain't fun, it ain't pretty, and you don't want to be in that situation. Trust me. Just ask anybody who's been in it, and they'll tell you, why are you playing like that? Why are you glorifying the struggle like? Why are you hashtagging that? Why you want that? What are you doing? You don't want that. You certainly don't want it for your friends and family at all. Somebody said, yes, I'm working on building my own system to be more sufficient. Absolutely. And that's a great point, because you got to understand this. Again, I'll go back and I'll say this, a couple things. Number one, the 9 to 5 era is obsolete. That thing ain't going to be around long. This rush hour traffic, it ain't going to be there. It was gone during COVID. It's going to be gone again during automation or AI. Think about it. It's going to be gone again. Who's going to be on the roads? Where are you going? There's nowhere to go. You don't have a job. So you have to protect yourself. You get insurance on everything except your own finances. You have to protect yourself. You have to hedge yourself, right? You have to have your own personal hedge. You have to protect yourself. Eliminate threats. If you believe that the 9-to-5 era is coming to an end and AI is about to rewrite the game, smash a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if it's happened to you or someone you know. Because I don't want to just be on here yapping about something that's not happening. I've heard from a few people. That's why I do this video. And I'm seeing on the news and in social media and stuff like that, these companies are coming out and just stamping these layoffs. So it's so important today, because you might hear this video, watch this video and say, well, Shon, what do we need to do? Because I'm from South Louisiana. Yes, I live here in Dallas. This is my home now, but I'm born and raised South Louisiana boy, right? And in South Louisiana, we would go through these hurricanes, and they would happen a lot. And during these hurricanes, the first thing would happen is you'd identify there was a storm out in the Gulf, right? All right, so that storm's out there. I remember Katrina. I remember all of that. And so the storms were out in the Gulf, and all of a sudden, when the storms were in the Gulf, people, you can identify there's a storm. So the first thing I always say is, look, identify there's an issue. And so when you see AI approaching the hurricane, I call it hurricane AI. When a hurricane AI is approaching, you see the storm, you identify, hey, there's a storm out there and it's headed this way. Okay, gotcha. Because you see Tesla layoffs, you see bank layoffs, you see, I talked to my banker the other day. He said, man, I don't think I'm going to be here long. I was like, what are you talking about? Now, I know, but I'm just trying to figure out if we're thinking the same reason he's not going to be here. He said, man, Chase Bank across the street, they just remodeled. And he said they used to have 10 employees at a time during the day. He said, I went over there, and this is a really nice dude, and I felt horrible for him. And he said, I went over there. There's only 2 people in the building. So 8 people lost their jobs. I said, well, what do they do? He said, the tellers are automated. They're machines. I was like, oh. Now, I'm not shocked. I see this coming. And so just like with the hurricane, you identify, you see it coming. Next thing you're going to do, hey, we need to plan and prep. There needs to be some planning, some preparation, just like somebody just put in the comments. I'm already prepping. I'm already planning. I see this thing coming. You guys are sleeping. You're out here yelling about being woke, and there you are, fast asleep. Huh? Fast asleep. Little Bo Peep, that's you. Fast asleep. While this storm gets bigger and bigger and intensifies. Category 1, Category 2, all the way up to a Category 5. I'm here to tell you that Hurricane AI cost America 1 million jobs, and it's only a Category 1. What's going to happen when it becomes a Category 5? Now we're really getting into some serious stuff, right? And because I think we're about to see a complete shift. I think the 9-to-5 economy is falling off a cliff. In fact, it ain't falling. It's getting pushed off the cliff. And so once you identified the storm is coming, Hurricane AI, and it's not just AI. There's a lot of things mixed up in the storm. There's over-debted college students who come out buried in debt, who need jobs, and they're willing to do it for less than you do. So they may fire you at $30 an hour, pay a college student $20 an hour because they need it, and they can leverage that debt against them. Also, AI and automation, outsourcing. You can pretty much go online and find anything on the other side of the world for 10 times cheaper than what you do here in the US. Outsourcing. Cheap labor from immigrants coming in from other country who got skills, and it could be legal immigration or illegal. I'm not here to debate that. But they are here and they're working and they're doing good jobs. If I have anyone on here right now who lives in my neighborhood, you know who built this beautiful neighborhood. So do I. Immigrants. Facts. If you live in Texas, you know. If you live in Arizona, you know. If you live in California, you know. So that's happening. Automation's happening. Downsizing, all those things happen. One thing we don't talk about, uh, I call it 2 for 1. That, and you guys have probably seen this. Let me know in the comments if you've ever seen this. I've heard about this happening recently, where companies are laying off. There's two workers, worker A, worker B. They're laying off worker B, passing workers B work to worker A, double working worker A while not paying them anything else and saving the salary from the worker they're fired. So essentially forcing the work onto other employees, even if they have to spread it out. But that means they don't have to bring in a new employee. I've heard about that. Let me know in the comments if you have. Let me know if you have. So somebody said, yes, COVID was a big eye opener for me. The same people they labeled as heroes became villains because they refused the jab. All of a sudden, these people are the worst of the worst, right? They didn't want to get stuck. They didn't want to do this. There were all these rules and regulations to get you back to work. Listen, one thing I always tell people, you don't ever want to be in a position where government tells you what to do. And I'm not even going to get into politics on here. I'm just going to leave it at that. You always want to be in a position where you can make your own decision. Okay? If you know, you know. Don't be stupid. Don't fall for these things that these politicians offer you. All lies. Don't fall for it. It's just, what do they call it? When you have a donkey, they put the carrot or something like that before the horse just to make it move around. Don't be stupid, people. Always be a self-thinker. Always do research. All the information is there. Just don't be lazy. There's nothing you can't find online. Sure, sometimes you have to check your sources, but if you do enough digging, you'll find what you need to know. But yeah, man, he's absolutely right. COVID should have been a big eye opener. I think it was pre-programming for UBI, but that's just me. I don't want to see universal basic income. I don't want that. Here's why. I don't want people having to rely on the government. Now, listen, I do understand if you have kids or you're out of work. I've been there. Your kids got to eat. You have to eat. I'm okay with that. I'm not against welfare. I grew up on it. I'm not against food stamps. I grew up on those things. It's not the kids' fault. So I'm not against any of those things, by the way. What I am against is if you turn it into a lifestyle like my mom did. That's what I'm against. My mom today is in her mid-60s and still unable to take care of herself. She's still not self-sustainable. She's healthy and whatnot, and her kids help her out. But because that system spoiled her, babysat her, limited her, and the blame is not all on the system. My mom didn't take any initiative, but there certainly was no one knocking on the door trying to get her out of this situation. So again, I'm not against those things. I don't want you and your family to be hungry and not have what's available. Go get that EBT. Go get it. Feed your kids. Don't be stupid. But go ahead and sit down and say, look, this is temporary. This is seasonal. We're not going to be here. We're not going to be relying on that. That's why I don't like programs that kind of desensitize you to providing for yourself. I like self-sustainable. I'll shock a lot of you. I don't like DEI. Now, and hear me out. I don't want you guys to go nuts. I'm a logical guy. Get all the emotions out of it. I heard a guy say, don't make emotional decisions. You'll probably make the wrong decision. That's facts. But I'm not a DEI guy. And why am I not? Because I don't believe a company should be forced to hire someone based on some rules or regulations they have to meet, some quota they have to meet. That's not fair for the company. You built the company. Why should somebody come in and tell you who you have to hire? You should have a right to hire the best candidate. Not because they're white, because they're black, because they're Asian or Latino or male or female. Just stupid. I hate that program. And I know you guys are out there boycotting stores. I'm not. Because I'm going to teach my kids whatever you want. You got to go and put in that work to get it. Whatever you want to accomplish, there's going to be some work with it. It's going to be there. You cannot have the harvest without the sowing. You cannot have the reaping without the sowing. No one has ever reaped a harvest without seed being planted. It just doesn't work that way. The ground doesn't even work that way. So I know it's going to make a lot of you mad, but put the emotions aside, switch places, take yourself out of the employee spot and put yourself in the employer spot. It's your business. You want to be successful. You want to win. You want to make a lot of money. Someone pops up and tells you you have to hire a certain person because of certain things. What do you say? You're going to look around and say, but they're not even qualified. How are they going to help my business? Why should I pay them? Shouldn't I be paying someone that can help my business grow? To me, that's common sense. Common sense. I told you there's some things you're going to like and dislike about this channel. I don't really care how people feel about me. I'm going to say what I got to say. I'm going to be very respectful with it, but you're not going to get me to just go along to get along. That's not who you're talking to. I used to be that guy, but I'm not that guy anymore, and I hope you guys are not that way. Like, I always tell friends, I'm like, if I see a crowd going that way, I'm going the other way. I'm going the other way because I know most people are followers. They have no idea what they're doing. I'm not going that way. No, as soon as I see that, I'm looking the other way. Like, nope. If you guys are right, I'll catch up with you. But I'm going to do some homework first. I don't just blindly follow. So, all right, that's my opinion. I'll leave it at that. So how did I get behind that wabbit? Silly wabbit. All right, but the 9 to 5 is going to be replaced by all those things I just mentioned. AI, students that are buried in debt, outsourcing work overseas, systems, processes that can replace you, overworking your coworker by placing your job, your assignment, your work on them and firing you. It's just going to happen. It's inevitable. Like Thanos says, I'm inevitable. The 9 to 5 is inevitable. It's going to be out of here. Right? The 9 to 5 is going off the cliff. What are you guys doing? You're still sitting there thinking everything's going to work the same tomorrow. It's not. Companies are buried right now on yachts or in boardrooms looking at how much money they can save if they can eliminate you. And not just you, all your friends. And they're letting you know up front. They're like, because people are getting tricked right now. Somebody commented, they were like, look, told you. All of a sudden, Amazon's hiring 250,000 seasonal workers. Sweetheart, there's a reason seasonal is in front of that. Because they're expecting a rush. They're going to bring you in, and then they're going to let you go. They're not going to need you. Well, if I work hard, I'll get the job. Sweetheart, listen. If that was the case, that they would just keep you because you work hard, then the bottom line wouldn't be the bottom line. When COVID was happening, Amazon was hiring like crazy because people were staying home and spending all their stimulus check online. And then after the stimulus money left the economy, what did Amazon do? Fired your butt, sent you home, sent you packing. So just like my guy said earlier, you need another way to make money. That is probably the most important thing I could tell you today. Because I hope they don't fire you. If you have a job that can be replaced by AI or automation, they're going to fire you. I don't know when, but you have to understand you're probably out at some point. So what you need to do in the meantime is get prepared. You identify you're probably out, get prepared, create a plan, right? That's what you do. And then you execute. Execute that plan. Just like my guy said, hey, I'm working on building my own system so I can be self-sufficient. See, that's somebody who looked out and said, hey, I can see this thing coming. Oh, everybody's just lollygagging. Everybody's just hunky-dory. Everybody's just hanging at the beach, taking vacations. Everybody's just hitting up all the spots, getting lit on Instagram. Wow. But I'm looking out, and boy, the wind's blowing, and I see this AI storm, and it's growing. And there's lightning, and it's thundering, and it looks like it's going to tear something up. But you look around, and the world they're not responding to it. They're like just carrying on like it's nothing. But you're wise because you're watching this video, and you're like, yep, I see it. And some of you, after watching this video for the first time, you're going to go, wait a minute. What? I see it. It is happening. That crazy handsome guy on YouTube was right. Sweetheart, we need to get prepared. We need to get ready. He said, identify it. He said, create a plan and then execute it. What's our plan? Protect ourselves financially from this storm. Meaning, what's that going to look like? Well, I'm going to lose my job. You're probably going to lose yours too. How do we make money when we lose our jobs? That's the question. If you can figure that out, you're going to be okay. And don't fill it in with another job, because there's no guarantee you'll find another job. I've heard of hundreds of people interviewing for fast food jobs at one time. It's just nuts. So there aren't going to be any jobs. I live in Dallas. The job market is slow. I'm just telling you. So my advice, find a way to make money that does not include 9 to 5, that does not include trading time, that does not include punching a clock. If you can find a way to make money, smash thumbs up if you understand what I'm saying right now, because it's so important. Whole point of this video right now. If you can understand or figure out a way to make money without having to go to work, does not mean quit your job. I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm not telling you that. There's nothing wrong with having a job. The only problem is if your job is your only source of income, then think about everything that your paycheck covers. Well, now remove your paycheck. Now, how are you going to pay those bills? See, we don't think about this stuff. So if you understand this, smash the thumbs up. Let me know in the comments. The most important thing you could be doing today is figuring out another way to make money when you're not at work. I don't care if it makes a little bit of money. I don't care if it makes a lot. I don't care how much. I didn't say how much. I don't care how much money it is that it makes. I only care that you learn the lesson. I only care that you learn the principle of making money without needing a job. Keep your job while you do this. And when they let you go, you'll still be able to do it. Quick example. Vending machine. You might be able to invest in a vending machine. That thing makes money. Okay, that's a skill. It's making money. That's an asset. You may be able to bake cookies out of your house. Do hair on Saturdays, right? You may be able to cut lawns, clean trash cans around the neighborhood. Whatever you got to do, now is the time for you to be creative. Whatever you got to do, figure out a way to make money without needing or having a job. Keep your job, because if you start baking cookies out of the kitchen, sure, you might make a couple of $100s a month, but it ain't going to set you free or replace your paycheck. Well, Sean, why would you say baking cookies if you know it's not going to set me free or replace my paycheck? Because the habit is what I'm trying to create here. You have a habit of punching a clock to get paid, and that's your only way of getting paid. I'm trying to create a new habit of using ideas and creative things to get you paid, of producing to get paid, of creating products to get paid. So now, if you lose your paycheck, you're going, all right, I'm baking cookies out of the kitchen. I'm making $200 a week. So it's not going to replace my paycheck because I just lost my job. But all I have to do is focus on this and get better, and we'll be okay. We got some money coming in. We're not at zero. And that's a win, because that may be all you need to sustain yourself. So I teach people how to do that by creating a business from their phone without having to do the work. You connect customers with service providers. A quick example of that would be a company like Uber. Uber does not drive anybody around. They don't pick anybody up. When you book a job, you don't even talk to Uber. It's automated. A driver needs a rider. Uber connects them on the platform. Uber gets paid when the ride happens. Uber doesn't drive anybody around. I have a moving service. I don't move anybody. I just connect a moving customer with a moving business, and I get paid every time the connection is made. So if you want to learn how to build a middleman business like that, you can choose any industry you want, and we'll launch your business, give it to you fully ready to go. and you could use it to make as much money as you want without having to leave your house and do the work. If you want to get an example of that, well, here's what you do. Just put the words teach me in the comments below, and you'll get the blueprint, so that it's about a 30-40 minute training that breaks everything down. If that's something you want to do, let me know. If not, just get creative and figure out a way to make money. I got to go, guys. And I just hope this helps somebody in some way. And again, the 9 to 5 era is over. It's time to shift. Don't get left behind. A lot of people are going to get left behind.